This is my current Sonic the Hedgehog Lego collection. I have quite a few sets, but I don't have all of them. I still have all the boxes for each Lego set, minus the Tails Brickhead. It got damaged, so that's why I don't have it. But everything else, I still have the box for. Includes the Lego Ideas Sonic set, Sonic's Green Hill Zone Loop Challenge, He's Animal Rescue Island, Workshop and Tornado Plane, Nickles Guardian Mech, Joe's Escape, Sonic Brickheads. I have a Tails one, but like I said, the box got damaged, so I just recycled it. I don't own are the Lego Dimensions pack, Keychain, Sonic Speed Spear Challenge, Sonic vs. Dr. Eggman's Death Egg Robot, Key's Coconut Attack. It is quite a unique setup. It's cool to create this Sonic world, even though most of it is, well, Green Hill Zone, if you can tell from some of the set pieces. The Knuckles and Rouge set comes with the Master Emerald, which is cool, and a falling Knuckles mech, but, like, seriously, why they give Knuckles a mech that's fallen apart here if I don't put this piece back together? Rouge has a flying machine, which doesn't make much sense. Every character needs to have a machine, but they could have made set pieces based off of levels. Like, what if they had a little angel, Master Emerald shrine here for Rouge to try to sneak up on? Why does Knuckles need a mech? Whatever. Yeah, Amy's Island set's probably my favorite. I just like the way it looks. It has that Sonic vibe, but also kind of relaxing at the same time. It has unique things like the slide that's actually you can push up to see its little secret. So there's little secret hiding spots, as well as a lot of unique stuff like, oh, there's a Chaos Emerald in there. Like something like that if you didn't know any better. And then this bridge here is collapsible, which is pretty neat. I forget how it's collapsible. Like what it just does. Let's see. I think you got to pull back one of these things. Where? Oh, there you go. Pretty neat once you figure it out. The Sonic's Loop Challenge is definitely the biggest one. You can see the plush toys in the background. Lovely. Where it's pretty long and it has the unique gimmick of being able to go through this loop and go all the way to the Doctor himself and his mech here. Simple. We have a little bit recreation of what Tails Workshop is, including a chair and even like a little what do you call this? Why am I having a brain fart here? We'll say tool holder. How did I forget what this is called? You ever had that thing where you know something's called? Tool shed? I don't know. But I like this quite a bit, and it can be unfolded if you wish. So you can take a look inside of his workshop. There's a nice yellow and blue theme. It could go around any of the other sets pretty easily because of that. And I quite like that. I wish Knuckles had something similar to that. Just something that is just the level. The Ideas set is probably the best one, where it just recreates Sonic 1's level design pretty nicely, including the goalposts, even the built-down border of this life panel, to even the item boxes. We even got a working spring here. These two right now, since they're the most different ones, the Brickheads, part of LEGO series, where you build a little figure that's in the same style as the other ones. They have a Sonic and Tails one. The Sonic one, I'm missing the base. He fell off, and then somehow the base is gone, so I have no idea. They're cute, and they're pretty sturdier, and the fact that one fell, I would like to collect the other two new ones they have. There are a lot of vehicles in these Sonic sets, including the Eggmobile, which is a more obvious one, and another Egg Mech back there. Of course, we have the Tornado Plane, which is pretty cool. The one that I never thought they would ever make, Shadow's motorcycle from Shadow the Hedgehog Sonic 06. Well, I'm going to say Shadow the Hedgehog since it has the logo. You know, this logo technically came back in the new Sonic game, which is really insane to think about. The fact they're even going back to Shadow the Hedgehog stuff. Maybe this was a calling that was going to happen. This is pretty cool. There's a little bit too much weird vehicles. Some of them are passable, like the Tails Hello Hovercraft. You can see him using even the Amy jet ski. You know, she probably jet skis. But the Rouge flying thing doesn't make any sense. And Knuckles using a mech is still insane. It's kind of cool builder. In fact, that one piece keeps falling off. But yeah, I think I put this together wrong at the bottom here. But I couldn't pull them off, so it kind of like, whatever. So yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of this mech. It kind of looks cool, but at the same time, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. And overall, I would prefer the Angel Island scene. And I think most kids would too, either way. I'm not too sure. I gotta ask a kid. Favorite of the machines is this one, which is one of Dr. Eggman's ones. It has a nice grabbable claw, a buzzsaw. Even has a place to put an animal. It can even detach to go airborne, if you will. Big fan of the thing they have for it, but overall, it is something you can pretend that's floating and attacking Sonic. I prefer the Eggmobile from the Lego Ideas set. The last buildable thing that I didn't really mention, because it doesn't really fit in our section, is this little thing. It is pretty neat. It's basically a little toll booth that also has schematics for Shadow inside. Pretty cool. Obviously an Eggman thing. We have a brick-built Eggman face. And you can press this down, and that opens that up. And also, I think if you do this, and you press that down, it goes down. Pretty neat. Of course, we get tons of rings. All these actually come from that one Lego Sonic set, being the little giant loop one, in case you're wondering. Got a couple of badniks. The Lego Ideas ones was look pretty good, actually. They slightly changed them for the their newer official ones. Both of these guys were recreated. I don't have the Mo-Bug one, though, but I do have the Crab Meat, which looks very different. But these guys are pretty cool. Of course, it makes sense to brick build these, because they're kind of weird. Why would you make a mold and you can build a unique figure? Pretty nice. I do like these. So these guys, you can tell, comes from Sonic 1, since most of the Sonic 1 Badniks have appeared in multiple different games. The biggest unique thing about the Badniks here is they actually copied ability from the games. You can see there's a weird little pouch back here, kind of, and each one kind of has this, basically, where a little animal is inside, and you guess you're just a kid, you pretend like, ha ha, I got this animal, try to attack me, and then you go, and you basically, the animal falls out. All of them have that feature. Buzz Bomber, who has a flat face and a stand, that doesn't make him stand up very well. Of course, Buzz Bomber is a classic flying enemy. In case you're wondering, the little animal is inside of his little abdomen there. Here's the chopper, which has moving pieces like this little fin, mouth, and side fins. And of course, the back is where a little animal would go, like this pink flicky, which I missed. But it is kind of weird. Well, it's a neat idea. Only the, I feel like, what do you call him? How did I forget his name? Buzz Bomber does it right. But like, oh, it's kind of inside of it. Because it's kind of weird to have an open hatchet and then have a little thing in there. It's supposed to use your imagination. But overall, at the end of the day, it is neat. But I kind of prefer it without it. Because it kind of looks like the animal's rotting on its back more than anything. Last of the Sonic 1 Badniks is the Neutron, which looks pretty neat. I actually like how game accurate it is. And, of course, there's another little spot there to put a little enemy. Or not enemy. A little flicky or a Pocky or a Pecky or a Pocky. Rhinobot's probably the most disappointing. This is the only one that's not from Sonic 1. It's from Sonic 3. I like this guy because he's pretty cool. He's got a giant hatchback here for an animal, unlike the other ones. And this is supposed to be his wheel. Because of that, he doesn't really stand up properly at all, which is kind of annoying, because there's no, in his set, he doesn't have even a stand to keep flat, so he doesn't stay flat. This would have been more worth it if it had a wheel, and the actual figure for this guy actually does have a wheel, but a little stand that keeps it steady. Well, the actual, like, Jack Pacific one, so I don't know why they couldn't do something similar. I don't know, whatever. I'm waiting to see the animals. Each of the Sonic animal buddies are like one little stud tall figures that fit in one little stud. And they're all custom molds, which look pretty neat. And yeah, since they're pretty cheap, they can be put on a bunch of them. There's also like a little hole in this guy. I'm not exactly sure why. I think that's one of those things if a kid chokes on it, it's a breathing hole thing. More than anything, though. Some people said, oh, you can put a little hat on them. We'll see. So, of course, we got Flicky. Flicky's a classic animal buddy we see all the time. And, of course, if you saw my Sonic videos, you know that Flicky debuted in his own game in 1984 before appearing in the Sonic the Hedgehog. And he's been a kind of mainstay ever since. In fact, in the UK, Sonic 3D Blast called Sonic 3D Flicky's Island. We got a pink variant for one of the Lego sets, I believe Amy's Island, Rescue Island, which is pretty cool. That one has the most amount of animal buddies. We got this interesting Pocky one. This one looks as good as the Flicky, but yeah, it's still there. It's still pretty neat. I have two of these. In fact, these guys in the American description were known as Johnny Lightfoot, which would actually become a character in the Fleetway comics. And all the animal buddies, but they've done most of them, most of the main ones, like this one, Picky the Pig, which was known in the American canon as Porker Lewis, which became a character in the Fleetway British comics. Everyone's favorite, Cucky, now renamed to Clucky. And they do these guys quite a few, so they got two of these, as well as the Penguin, known as Pecky. I think these were done so often because the Flicky is basically the same mold, even in the games it looks very similar, so all they do is repaint it. So these guys are probably easier to do. Like, oh, we got little animals, so redoing making new molds like for this. The thing about these is they're so small, you can lose them easily. Like, I actually have one more, but I can't find it. It was here, but I have no idea where it is. That being Walkie, a little monkey from Sonic 2. What you're really here is for me to talk about the minifigures. Now, I have most of the minifigures. I don't have the original Sonic minifigure from the Dimension, which I think has slight changes, but I have most of them. Except for the fact that two of the Sonic sets I didn't know had Winking Sonic, of the two ones I chose, meaning the regular modern Sonic, is in one of the other sets I don't have, which sucks. But I do have a classic Sonic that looks pretty good. And the only other minifigure I feel like it looks like I'm missing is apparently the Cubot was not a brick build, and that was actually a minifigure, so I'm missing that. Here is classic Sonic here. He has a unique mold for his head, though I'm pretty sure they've used this since 2016. This is the one from like the Ideas, which is the classic Sonic. The biggest difference between this one is that his eyes are black. He's a smile here. I'm not sure the other modern Sonic doesn't have that. And he's got a circular belly. Unique prints, he's the only Sonic character that has a side print for his little belt buckle, which is pretty neat. And he's even got some back printing. I don't know, my phone decided to go bad quality. This phone is so inconsistent with video quality. So since then, the new LEGO Sonic sets, this Sonic has appeared in 4 different sets, 2 different variants, a winking variant, which isn't too interesting, same head mold, but just a different facial expression. He's got the green eyes that some people don't like. I love the green eyes. And a kind of a weird wink, to be honest. It would have been cooler if they designed it better, but whatever. And a different type of smirk. He's got a more oval-shaped, teardrop-shaped chest. And other than that, everything else is the same. You got the same side printing on his foot as the classic one, as well as the same back spine print. Next, we got Sonic's best bud, Tails, who fell over. He's in 2 sets right now, and I have 2 of him. He has a unique mold for his head, as well as a unique, kind of more rubbery, but only a little bit, tail mold. He's got short legs, I guess, to make him look smaller. In particular, he's really not that short, but I guess they wanted to have that comparison compared to Sonic. He doesn't have, his shoe printing is pretty basic, but his shoes are probably the most simplistic of all the other Sonic characters. So now a whole lot's needed there. He's got this very unique tail mold that goes right in between his torso piece and legs. And he's got a great expression on his face. He looks so happy. We've got Knuckles the Echidna, who has a little bit of his crescent on his chest, as well as a unique head mold and unique fist. When you see this minifigure, you think that the fists come part of it, but actually, they're completely detachable, which is kind of weird. It actually doesn't look terrible. It looks like, okay, that's what they probably would have done Knuckles, but they went above and beyond, and they gave him his knuckles. These are actually unique. I'm not sure about the regular LEGO boxing gloves, if they are like this or not, but because Knuckles has spikes on his gloves, they had to make a new mold for it. But I'm not too sure. I'm not a LEGO expert on that. His shoes are kind of weird because they have so much more detail than the other ones, so he's kind of this yellow feet for the most part. It's kind of weird. And like I said, only front printing on here to show the red and the green for the lace, but overall, they could have done better, at least in my opinion. Sonic had side printing. Why couldn't Knuckles have side printing? I understand not doing back printing. And he has his tail. There have been 2 Amy's. They're exactly the same, except they have different hammers, one for each set. This is the big loop one has a more generic hammer, one of a rounded side, one with a flat side. That's not how Amy's hammer works, but it works. And this one on the Rescue Island has a unique hammer where it's pink, and he has a heart on one side. But we look at the minifigures, both of them are same. She's got a unique head mold. This is not a unique skirt mold, because Amy's skirt actually doesn't have folds like that. But they decided to keep it. She has good printing on her front and back side. They even kept some of the details. And her shoes aren't too unique enough for it to not look bad on the printing, or boots, I should say. And of course, like every other Sonic character, she has a unique head mold, because, you know, they wouldn't work on a regular minifigure size head. Next, we got Squidward tentacles. Actually, wait, this is not a Sonic figure. Get out of here. Next is Shadow the Hedgehog, and they didn't cop out by just using the same head mold for Sonic, because Shadow's quills are different than Sonic's. They even had his eyes changed to actually fit his expression better mold-wise. That's pretty cool. The details on his face are pretty great. Like, they have everything where it should be. They even have the inner part, the red part of the outer eye there, whatever you call that. Pretty neat. He's got chest fur, and he has the exact same back printing as Sonic, just in a different color. In case you're wondering, here is Shadow's. Here is Sonic's. The same. Everyone is the same. His shoes don't look bad from the front. In fact, there's an incredible amount of detail in the front of the shoes there, if you can tell. Which is weird, because if you couldn't tell, his sides are white, which look kind of weird. But he's the only character that has arm printing, even though another character kind of used it, because he has a bunch of details on his arms. Like I said, unfortunately, this phone doesn't like to pick that up, because this phone sucks. We got Rouge the Bat, who has kind of weird printing overall. She got the unique head mold like everyone else, and wings, which I don't think come with this figure. Probably made for someone else. There isn't really anything hiding under the wings for the back print. Her boots look okay. It has a heart, but it looks like it's off printed here, which is a shame. And yeah, it was kind of generic here, and they had to use pink for the silhouette. They usually do for the female characters. She does have arm printing. Well, like Shadow, it is kind of just half and half, rather than having a pink part here like it does in the actual character. Overall, I think it's okay. That could have been better, in my opinion, compared to everyone else. This unique minifigure is the Eggman one. People complain about the Brick Butt one, which is this. People didn't know how to depict Eggman because Sonic figures were depicted in regular minifigure form, and Eggman's depicted a lot taller than them. In general, he's a lot bigger than they're actually humans, so they didn't know how to depict him. Even Lego Dimensions had a very weird version of the character. This one is not doing it, though. It looks okay in the car, but up close and personal, this just does not look right. But this minifigure idea is pretty unique. I gotta say, it uses the long Lego legs, which some very few actual sets use, where it's like 3 studs instead of 2. They look pretty great, even as this nice printing. And basically, the rest of this is just one giant mold here for the body and head, but the arms are detachable, which is kind of weird looking at it, but it has a great amount of detail. It looks great like the character, but in a unique way. Back printing. The only problem with this figure is that it doesn't have arm printing. I know I'm being picky here, but they seem to be able to do it sometimes. I think for a unique figure like this, it's just kind of weird that it doesn't have the arm printing like it does on the legs and the body, but whatever. Overall, the Lego Eggman is probably one of the best minifigures because of how unique and cool it looks. The thing about these sets is that they actually go fast. Now, there's this little ball that you can put Sonic in, and 2 of the sets has this. I think maybe 3. It doesn't seem like it's a thing they're selling on to some cool feature they have. Basically, you have this bouncer thing. You put Sonic in here, and then he goes away. The idea is when you hit it, it does work, but I don't have it set up the best. Sonic goes in the ball and even goes through this course here. It does work, but it's a little finicky. A cool feature, and you can see a lot of kids having fun with it. And I think it's better than what they did with Lego Mario. It's the end of Lego Sonic stuff. Everything's just thrown around and you put it back on the shelf it belongs. But thank you for watching, and I hope Lego Brick Built Eggman will haunt your dreams.